It is day 10 since the militant group Hamas attacked Israel. The Israeli military is preparing for the next stages of the war against the Hamas militant group, while humanitarian crisis still looms over Gaza. In the latest, the Israeli army has once again offered a window to civilians to escape from the north and move to the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Furthermore, foreign nationals currently in Gaza can cross over to Egypt, this according to the Palestinian embassy. Nationals with dual nationality will be allowed to cross over to Egypt. Humanitarian aid will also begin crossing into Gaza once the crossing opens up. Earlier, U.S. President Joe Biden said in an interview that any move by Israel to occupy the Gaza Strip again would be a big mistake.
I think it'd be a big mistake. Look, what happened in Gaza, in my view, is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas don't represent all the Palestinian people. And I think that it would be a mistake for Israel to occupy Gaza again. But to going in and taking out the extremists, the Hezbollah is up north, but Hamas down south is a necessary requirement.
U.S. and Israeli officials are also discussing the possibility of U.S. President Joe Biden visiting Israel at the invitation of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A visit by Biden will show support for the biggest U.S. ally in West Asia. The White House, however, has denied any comments on this. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continued his outreach activities in the West Asian region. He completed his six-nation tour with a visit to Jordan and is back in Israel. Blinken says the nations in the region believe any spillover of the Israel-Palestine conflict must be averted. Now, for more on this, we have with us our correspondent Sudan Sybil, who has been covering the conflict from the front line in Sderot. Hello to you, Sudan. Now, take us through the latest.
In Sderot, I'm standing just in front of the police station, which is now devastated, where the terrorists attacked and the Israeli police heroically defended it. With me is someone from the Prime Minister's office. If you can talk about the situation on the ground, how safe the situation is here in southern Israel.
At the moment, we are in the middle of the war. What's happened 10 days ago, we shouldn't cover it as just another battle. This is a war. They kidnapped more than 120 Israelis, including children and women, and we will not stop till we destroy Hamas and Jihad, no doubt about it. We need to do some different game in this region, because our civilians won't be able to suffer anymore as long as they will understand that the Israeli government decided strategically and tactically at the same time. It's not just another military circle. We will do our best in order that the Israeli civilians will not suffer again, not injured and not being killed. The Hamas must be destroyed from this region.
So, if you can talk about the situation in the aftermath of the attack, how many Israeli civilians have died, unfortunately, and how many of the Israeli citizens are now kept hostage by Hamas?
Unfortunately, we have more than 1,300 Israelis dead from this brutalic Hamas massacre attack on last Saturday, and we have more than 3,000 casualties, and we have at least 120 hostages in the tunnels of the Hamas, including women, including children. This is a horrible situation, and the Israeli government decided to destroy the Hamas, period.
So my other question to you is, we have seen groundswell support from India. We have seen the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also terming this incident as a terror attack. How do you see the Indian moral support at this time when your country is facing this kind of attack?
We are saying thank you for the Indian administration, including the Prime Minister Modi, which is a really good friend of our Prime Minister Netanyahu. We are really say thank you for the entire world, for the Western world, not just the Western world. Most of the countries around the world support Israel, support the suffering of the Israeli citizen, and we will say thank you for the Indian regime, Indian population, including Americans and some other dozens of countries that support Israel in this critical situation. Thank you, India. Thank you for your support the state of Israel.
Sama, another question is as to the situation here on the ground. While we were traveling towards southern Israel, where we are right now, we saw a lot of movement of troops. We saw a lot of tanks, and we're just 3 kilometers away from the border as well. What is expected next? Will there be a ground offensive by the Israeli side, something that has been talked about?
There is some plans that the cabinet Israeli government thinking what is the right way to deal now. No question that we are not going to stop at this moment. We are going to make sure that the Hamas, we won't be able, the capability to destroy the Israeli citizens.
And essentially, what are you looking at? What are the options at the table, sir?
There is quite lots of options at the moment. We don't know exactly the timeline, but we know one thing: the Hamas and Jihad must be destroyed.
So my final question before you leave, there have been several rocket attacks here in this part of Israel as well, in Tel Aviv as well. How are you dealing with these rocket attacks?
Our mission is to make sure that the Israeli civilians won't be killed anymore. Therefore, if there is a rocket, we have shelters, and you also, the foreign media, need to go to the shelters when we have rockets. But make sure that we won't be able to stop this war until the Hamas and Jihad will destroy from this area.
So are you hopeful that there will be no repetition of what happened in the past here in this part of Israel?
We are determined that it won't be happen again. This what happened last Saturday won't happen again. We are determined to destroy Jihad and Hamas from these zones, period.
And do you think that there will be another front by Hezbollah in the north?
Well, we hope not. We don't want another zone and another military operation. We are doing our best to make sure that Hamas and Jihad will not be able to destroy Israelis anymore.
So my final question, there are reports that Indian origin Israelis also died. If you can give some details about that.
I don't have enough details about that. Sorry about that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank
you so much, sir, for speaking to WION. So there was the Israeli government official from the PMO speaking to WION from the ground from Sderot, where I am standing. And if I can briefly tell you where I am standing, this was once the police station where, of course, the people used to come. But this was the police station now destroyed after the terror attack. Only remnants left on the ground. In fact, I can show you how the situation has panned out. If my camera person can come here and show this side, that how on the ground there has been complete leveling which has taken place. Back to you in the studio, Alison.
Right, Siddhant. And as you said, you are in Sderot, which is an Israeli city very close to the northern part of the Gaza Strip. You mentioned that you had seen a buildup of Israeli military along the border. Take us through what you have seen there.
Well, yes, Alison, we have seen that build up towards the border. I'm just 3 kilometers away from the Gaza border, and the situation is quite tensed here. And we have seen how there have been tanks rolling. In fact, with each passing day, the military area has been gradually expanded. The location where we were standing yesterday is a location where one cannot go again. But if I can talk about the destruction which has happened here in Sderot, if my camera person can come along and show you the situation on the ground. This is a police station which no longer exists now. Instead of this police station, we know that there is complete destruction of this location, and there is, of course, a lot of bullets on the ground lying here still. If I can show you some of those visuals of used bullets on the ground in this police station. There are several people who who were part of defending this entire area, who are speaking to the people now. We try to speak to them as well very soon. But all in all, this is a location which is not yet very, very safe.